Pompey Sound. Updates, the latest from Fratton Park, on the hour, every hour. Fueled by Piglet's Pantry. Click pigletsPantry.co.uk to get your fill.
Kusini Yengi has taken to social media to say a very well-worded and quite lengthy goodbye to Portsmouth.
My first European adventure. You took a chance on a young man from down under. I'm incredibly grateful to all the staff, coaches, fans and teammates who welcomed me, believed in me, and helped shape me into the player and person I am today. While my second season didn't go the way I'd hoped personally, as a club we fought, competed, held our own, and ultimately achieved the goal of staying in the championship. It is with a heavy heart that I say goodbye, but I leave with immense pride and a deep sense of honor at having represented this historic club. I will be forever following Pompey closely and wish nothing but continued success for everyone associated with this special club. Don't be sad it's over. Be happy it happened. Bye for now. Love, Cass.
Now, you don't need me to tell anybody that that is pure class. I mean, he's a classy guy, isn't he? I mean, he looks classy. He plays a classy game. It fell just a millimetre short, perhaps, of what we need up front. I think the club could have worked on that. His injuries were a problem. His determination to turn out for his country, or to go and be present when his country was playing, even though he might have been told you'll only be coming on as sub at best, but he still was there. He had that commitment. He didn't have to go on that second trip to be with the Socceroos. And it was an awful irony that he was out for most of the season, as far as we were concerned, because of an injury picked up with the Socceroos, just as he's getting back to full fitness. And he turned out for us, didn't he? He didn't pull up any trees, but he always looked the part. And his celebrations when he scored, especially at away games, he would pick out, he knew where the Pompey faithful were, they were celebrating, and he made a beeline for them. And his statement was not, look at me, aren't you grateful to me for that? He was saying, we've scored, we, us, all of us. The team, not just me, but the fans and the team and me, all of us. We are happy for the same reason. He's a class guy. We can only wish him well as long as he doesn't turn up in somebody else's number 9 shirt next season and score a hat-trick, because players have a habit, don't they, of just finding that extra fifth gear against a team they used to play for, even if they have expressed such loquacious, eloquent goodbyes, farewells, adieus, as Kusini Yengi did there. So what did he say? Don't be sad, it's over. Be happy it happened. Bye for now, he says. That's going to be analysed to death by one or two people. But anyway, bye for now. Love, Kaz. He said love. Ain't that just beautiful? So yeah, bye for now, Kaz. Who knows? Andy Cullen's talking about putting Portsmouth on a wider stage. Here's what he has to say.
We launched our Pompey Plus channel last summer when we took our website in-house. The Pompey Plus channel is in its first year, but we want to grow more content on that. We're really pleased with the Matchday show, and the feedback from supporters is really strong. It's hosted by George Wedlake, and we have Andy Orford, Paul Robinson and a number of different guests. That's quite good, because what we can do is show the pre-match show domestically, but internationally we can show pre-match, half-time and full-time. The reason for that is because at half-time and full-time, they are showing a lot of match footage, and we can't show that domestically until midnight because of the domestic rights held by Sky. Being able to show that internationally has been really successful, but what we did for the last home game of the season against Hull City was we made the pre-match show free to air just to see if we could get people to sample it. On the day we had 26,000 views, and it's now over 50,000 views. That's something which is really interesting, because if we have that amount of people interested in looking at it, we have to think a little bit differently. Domestically, our supporters have always wanted to get as much access to content about their club as they can.
Yeah, Pompey Sound is very much a representation of the fact that football fans will listen and watch and read almost anything that becomes available about their club. They're interested in the beautiful game, of course, and some of the wider goings-on and issues, but their club, they will move heaven and earth to catch the last drop of information, argument, debate, analysis of their own club and their own players. And I have to say as well that I think George, on that pre-match show, which I've dipped into, is superb. A really excellent broadcaster, a man who knows his football, knows his Pompey inside out. And that is so important, isn't it? That you know the game and you know the club. And he's great. He hosts a really fine show. The guests are always top calibre people with Portsmouth at heart and fine analysis and prediction and proposals as to how Pompey can get better. It gets better and better, as broadcasting often experiences. First attempts can be quite shaky, but theirs wasn't. Theirs was absolutely rock solid, foot sure. Credit to everybody involved, including the behind-the-scenes people who get it right. Does look a little bit odd sometimes if it's an away game and they are there in the empty Fratton Park by themselves. But having Fratton Park as a backdrop, even empty, is better than a bland studio and the bland tables that people normally get stuck on and doing what the Americans derisively call talking heads. So good luck with all of that. Good luck thinking outside the box, Andy. Many football clubs are a little bit slow in coming forward. Pompey have been in the past, not going into details, but we've all got our hang-ups about some things that went on in the past that were just outdated. And I mean, not allowing women. This is just one small one. Not allowing women in the boardroom. Well into the 1970s and 80s, I think. I might be wrong. If I'm wrong, I apologise. I stand corrected, but I think Pompey have always been, like most football clubs, a bit slow coming forward. But here we are, thinking about who's going to settle down in a bar in Los Angeles and watch the pre-match build-up at Fratton Park, and then the half-time chat, and then the post-match stuff. They reckon that there are plenty of people out there who will do it, and if they will do it, then Pompey want them. Going global. Wouldn't it be great to walk into a bar in Tashkent or Canberra with a Pompey shirt on and somebody come up to you and say, I think you were wrong to let Sadie go, mate, because they know the club. It's their club. It's their club. My son went to China and he said that 1 in 4 of the Chinese people that were always in the bar when there was a football match on, preferably Premier League, all came in wearing their Manchester United shirts. And that's what Pompey want a piece of. And quite right too. So, as usual, well done so far, Pompey. Keep it up. Keep moving forward. Today, Portsmouth. Tomorrow, the Stars. Former Pompey defender Jason Cundy was asked by Talk Sport if they could get his wisdom on how Pompey might have an even better season next season than the one that's just ended. See what you think.
If you want to succeed in the Championship, to finish in the top half or challenge for the playoffs, you must get off to a fast start. Last season, it just took Portsmouth a while to acclimatise to the league, which is ultimately why they didn't finish higher in the table. However, in the second half of the season, they showed what kind of team they are, and did really well, after they got used to the competition and stabilised. They need to be better defensively, and that's how you start to build. As a football team that wants to improve and succeed, it starts with keeping clean sheets and not conceding 3 or 4 goals every second game. They grew in confidence as the season went on, especially in front of goal, which won them matches, as their defending was brilliant, but finishing 5 points above the drop zone is still a bit close for comfort. However, last year's target will have been to stay in the league, which they achieved. They are a well-supported team with a good manager and a set of players who now have an extra year's experience in the Championship, so the target will be the top half of the table next season.
Well, what did you think of that? I have to say, I wouldn't argue with Jason Cundy. Nobody in their right mind would argue with Jason Cundy, a man who on the pitch at least took no prisoners. But here, I suspect he is betraying the fact that although he played for Portsmouth, that doesn't mean to say he's now following Portsmouth on a minute-by-minute basis. And clearly, he doesn't know that we got off to a bad start largely because of the fixture list. He doesn't know, it seems, that we were poor defensively, largely or almost entirely in part due to the fact that we had so many injuries at centre-back. Jason, we were playing our right-back at centre-back at the start of the season. Then we were playing our midfield player at centre-back through the season. Then we were playing our number one choice at left-back at centre-half. OK, we had a magnificent goalkeeper, thank goodness, but we could not rely on having the same two centre-halves one match after another. And that's a huge problem, as if he'd got the details, Jason would have had to acknowledge. We don't have to play defensively better, we have to keep our defenders fit. How you do that, that's another matter. He also seems to think that if you score more goals, you'll do better. Right? Yep, could be on to something there, mate. And finally, to say that it's a great club with fantastic support and a good manager and some good players, that's just filling space. Those things are absolute platitudes, the certainties about Portsmouth that everybody knows. Whether they played for Pompey or a fan of Pompey or not, everybody knows that the club has unique support. And everybody is now waking up to the fact that we've got a potentially great, certainly currently very, very, very prominently good manager. No two ways about it. And we're building a solid squad. And we're getting there. We're moving. I know it's a ridiculed term around Pompey with some people, but we are building brick by brick. And we're going to get there. I wonder, Jason, if you'd care to pay even greater attention to Pompey next season, the coming season, so that when you're asked mid-season, I should say at the end of next season, about Pompey and how they can do even better, the season after the season that we're about to have, your answers, dear boy, would be just a little bit more unique and original. Thank you.